As we promised, Maggie Hogan is staying with us. She is the author of Dad, Angels and Dogs, a story of faith, love, and honor. And we're talking about a journey in Maggie's life and a journey with her mom and dad, of course, following the death of her mother. You became your dad's, he lived with you, so you took care of him. I'm going to say caretaker, but that word is so meaningless. That's a meaningless word, I believe. He lived with you. You looked after him. When did the Panda, Magnum, and Ina enter the picture?
Panda, Ina, and Magnum entered the picture when I went back to visit my dad in Illinois. That was his home state.
And that's where you grew up?
That's where I grew up, Moline, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, I'll come back and visit, but I have to bring my dogs. Then I just had Ina and Magnum.
Uh-oh. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You were saying, too, your mom was your best friend. We were discussing that at the break, that there does come a point in a child's life, in her parent's life, if the love is there to bond, that you do become best friends. Your mom became your best friend?
My mother was definitely my best friend.
And what did that mean? What did you do together, and how did that come about?
I think it came about with growth and development, and when you enter the stages of your life, whether male or female, and not talking small talk. I'm kind of big on it. You really know them as an adult, and they're able to ask you and tell you more of how they feel about things, rather than saying, hey, it's a great day, the weather's nice out there, you know, how are you doing?
Or tell you what to do, because when you become an adult, then you can identify with what they're saying. And I think both grow together in that respect.
I knew they were right. They raised my sister, brother, and I as a family.
Well, parents are always right, aren't they?
You know, I didn't think they were so right when I was in my teenage
right.
years.
You know, I used to say to my mom, well, it's because you say so, Mom. She says, no, it's not because I say so. It's just because I'm older than you are, and that's the way it is. Now, what did your dad become? Your mother was your best friend in later years, but then with the loss of your mom, you said something very interesting. Your dad became...
He became my best date. How's that?
I love that.
I wanted to honor his wishes and satisfy his needs. So, spending the last years of his life, he was enjoying whatever we chose to do. And I took him definitely to many...
You traveled. I mean, Hollywood, Disneyland, Las Vegas.
I did.
Golden Gate, Fisherman's Wharf. You took him everywhere.
We had fun. And I was able to do that because I was lucky enough to have a profession that was rather lucrative. I lived in Nevada at the time, and I would take him to California and all the sights to be seen. One example is I went to Crescent City in Northern California, and he had not seen the redwoods. That was a big thrill because my dad was a very big nature lover. And the General Sherman tree, the biggest tree in the United States.
What was your dad by profession?
My dad by profession was an employee of John Deere in Moline, Illinois, and retired. So he worked where they made the green and yellow tractor, and he was a spot welder.
Do you think...
Coal miner's daughter also.
Obviously, you can't speak for men, but you think daughters are closer to their fathers than boys are closer to their fathers, or can you even answer that?
Oh, I'd be glad to answer that. I'm not fortunate enough to have a daughter, but I have two wonderful sons. And it seems, in my observations as a nurse in the hospital, I feel like the relationships can be both. I do see daughters spending more time with their best friend, their mom, and yet I do see sons spending more time with their fathers. But all in all, I think it can work both ways.
I think it can work both ways. I think it's different times, different periods in your life. When they're little girls, sometimes it is daddy a lot. Then, you know, their daddy's the best girl and all that. Right. Ironically enough, it was interesting, the charge nurse brought it to your attention that maybe your mom didn't want you there when she passed. Now, when your dad passed, you weren't there either, but...
I was there.
Well, I mean, but you also, I think in the book, I remember you saying to your father, if you wanted, you had to run an errand, and if you want to join Mom.
That's true.
How did that go?
My dad was in a hospice program, and I greatly credit the hospice profession of nursing.
Oh, yeah, they're
I had my last talk with my dad, as I go over in my book, and what I felt like my last words were going to be, and I told him that I was going to run an errand and make sure that he didn't have to wear the suit that he requested not to wear. And I said, I'm going to go check out the sales, and I telling him that I'll be gone a few minutes, but I will be back in less than 40 minutes, and it's okay if you pass on during this time to join Mom. This is what we're supposed to do, give a permission.
And they have
and I feel like it worked.
On to life, sometimes not wanting to leave you, and if you tell them it's okay many times. The hearing is the last sense to go with a person dying?
Yes.
Was he coherent at the time?
No.
No. Okay.
But he could hear me. The dogs and I spent 3 days by his bedside, and he chose to pass on as I left to...
well, what a heartwarming story, and you were saying at the break, too, that this is a story that you believe that 20 and 30-year-olds should read, those in the younger generation should read.
I'm told. I think they would enjoy that. It does stimulate their thought pattern, and I think it's all for every age, baby boomers.
Honey, you now make home with us in, well, not with us. Where do you make home now?
I live in Georgetown, Texas.
So you don't make home with us? Okay. She doesn't make home with us. But anyway, where can we find the book?
My book is available now on Kindle, Nook, and iPad, and it will be released today to be ordered on Amazon.
You were looking for a home in Anthem at one time, weren't you? Is that where I got that? Yes.
In Sun City,
Sun
Anthem.
City, yes. Thank you, Maggie, very much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Maggie,
You're
a
very
pleasure
welcome.
to have you on the show and listen to your story. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet.